First question will come from Rick Stroud.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd, we talked about this a little bit last night, but anytime you give up 201 yards rushing, I know it happened twice last year. It really hasn't happened much before that. When you watch it, what was going on there in terms of, was it run fits or just what did you see that they were able to push you guys backwards?
I'll tell you what, when I left the game, I thought it was a lot worse than it was. I just thought they killed us. And then watching the film this morning, we misfit some things and had some self-inflicted wounds. I thought they schemed up. One of our defenses pretty good and got 2 runs out of it, which was good on their part. And I thought we kind of misfit or ran out of our gaps on certain things, which is encouraging because it can be corrected, but at the same time, you don't want it to happen.
Right. So those 2 runs made a big difference. And then running the football, I mean, I know we're only 3 weeks in, but you're last in rushing average. This is a team you wanted to run the ball more successfully. So what needs to happen and what can Rachaad White do, if anything, better?
No, we got to stay on our blocks a little longer. Obviously, it goes hand in hand. Rashaad's got to hit it. I think he tried to make too many big plays when it was a grind out type of game. You're not going to get big plays on these guys. You got to start hitting it up in there, getting 2, 3, and 4 yards and hope you can break one later on. So they probably had too many cuts trying to make an explosive play out of something out of nothing, as opposed to taking what they give them. And then given the magnitude of the game, knowing it was going to be one of those type of games, just from an experience standpoint, he can get better that way, and he will.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Greg Auman.
Hey, Todd, just want to ask you about the injuries at corner. Obviously, you were down Carlton going in, and then Dean went out, I guess, with his shoulder. And I didn't know what Delaney's injury was, but I know he went out. You finished the game with Pitts out there. Just want to ask you about those 3 and where things stand for them from what you know.
I don't know much right now until they come in and get checked out. I did see Delaney go back in on special teams, so that was encouraging. I'll find out how bad these guys are in a little while.
Todd, the punt return coverage I thought was really strong the first 2 weeks. I don't think he allowed a single yard against the Bears, and then the Eagles' return to Covey had like 81 yards last night. Is there something you'd point to for what went wrong, or why they were able to kind of get through your coverage there?
Got to be able to tackle. You got to be able to tackle, especially when they're singling us out at gunners. We got to force fair catches. Got a lot of young guys playing special teams from an experience standpoint, but we got to learn to play off each other a lot better than that. We made plays the first 2 weeks. I don't think we made them last night.
Thanks, Todd.
Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Coach, was to kind of follow up on Greg's point, was Jake Camarda out kicking his coverage sometimes last night? He had some boomers that kind of gave the return guy an opportunity to run, or is it just poor coverage on your part?
No, we want him to kick when we're backed up. We want him to kick the ball out there. You put it out there like he has the last 2 weeks. We got to run down and cover. We got a lot of young guys and a lot of athletic guys there on the special teams. We got to do a better job of filling our lanes and not letting the ball get where it needs to go to.
And Robert Hainsey was a starter last year in all 17 games, but how would you assess his play through the first 3 weeks of this year?
I think it's coming together as a group. He has some plays he liked to have back, but I thought he's been steady with his calls and been tough that way. Obviously, we got to work on some technique things early in the season, as do all the other offensive linemen, but I think he's been solid from a mental standpoint. We can be better from a physical standpoint all the way around.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to JC Allen. If any media have questions, please raise your hand.
Coach, just want to ask you about the efficiency of first down runs for you guys. It's kind of played you the last 2 years. Last night, outside of a big 10-yard gain later in the ball game, only 8 runs. 2 of them were negative, including the safety. 1 for no gain. What is it about the first down running game that has kind of been non-existent for you guys?
I mean, I think people load up when they see certain things. Maybe we start out passing a little more and open it up a little bit later, but we got to block it better. We got to continue to grind it. You don't want these guys peeling their ears back and trying to come after Baker like that, but we got to do a better job of executing. It's really that simple.
And then as far as the defensive end side of the ball, you've lost obviously both starting cornerbacks to injuries throughout the last couple of games, but both of those safeties back there, Antoine Winfield and Ryan Neal, how would you assess their game so far for the first 3 weeks?
3 weeks, they've been solid for us. Obviously, you'd like to have some tackles back last night. I thought each of them missed a tackle or two. but they've been solid for us. The communication's been good, and I like where they are.
Rick Stroud.
Coach, I don't know what Derek Carr's availability will be, but are you preparing for both? And if Jameis starts, do you feel, you know, your team's had a good start getting turnovers? Do you feel like that could continue this week?
Well, we hope to keep getting turnovers, especially in this game, because the winner of this game usually has the margin of turnover on their side. So we prepare for Jameis and Stroud. I don't think the offense will change that much that way. The bigger problem is going to be Kamara coming back, and they have more juice in the backfield to go with the speed they have outside at receiver.
Thanks, Coach.
Greg Auman.
There's kind of been some confusion across the league in terms of what constitutes a false start on the offensive line. The Eagles kind of had that early leg kick, that outside leg kick pre-snap. We're just curious what your read on that was, whether you think that everything was officiated the way it's supposed to be last night.
They've been seem to be letting it go. I guess it's starting to get included. So, you know, we got to come off the ball nevertheless. Sometimes the eye sees things and they say it takes a second or a half a second click. You know, what we see, we gotta start correcting that somewhere along the line, and make sure it doesn't get out of hand. But I'll leave that to the league. And you know that's all we can do about it. You know, we can try to make them look at it a little closer and see the things they see, but they got to call it for it to be effective.
Thank you.
Scott Reynolds.
Todd, your thoughts on coverage in general last night against the Eagles receivers? I know AJ Brown, you know, got up with some big catches. If you can comment on that, and also the play of D Delaney when he came in, made a splash play with an interception for you.
All right, AJ is a great receiver. We know he's going to make some catches. I was more disappointed in the yak yards he got after the catches. We missed about 4 tackles on him where he got at least another 40, 50 yards running football, and we got to bring him down when he catches the ball. We can't turn a 5-yard hitch into a 15, 20-yard play or a 5-yard crossing route into another 20-yard play. We got to do a better job getting him down from there. Delaney came in. He's a heady ball player. He made a great play on the interception play down there on the goal line to get his feet in play, and we've kind of seen that all the times that we've had him. We can still, as a group, him included, do a better job tackling out on the perimeter.
Thanks, Coach.
Last question will come from JC Allen.
Yeah, Coach, just wanted to ask you your assessment on Dave Canales' play calling last night. What you thought about it? What were the takeaways, positive and negative?
Well, the positive is that we hung in there. The negative is we didn't execute well. We can call it better and we can play it better. And that was just from offense, defense, and special teams. I can call it better. He can call it better. He's learning some things along the way that's going to benefit us as the year goes on. And we're still learning ourselves as an offense. And, you know, we came up against a good defense that played very well, and we can adjust some things, and we will.
And obviously losses are always tough, especially when they come in the same conference. But what was the silver lining for you out of this loss, if there was any, that, you know, you can build upon going forward?
Well, we won together and we lost together. We won 2 and we were okay. 24-hour rule. We lost 1. We got to have a 24-hour rule. We got a big divisional opponent coming up this week. If we can get into the bye week at 3-1, you know, we'll nobody be crying about that.
All right, that's all we have. Thanks, Coach.